and welcome to Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. I'm your host, Bill Cannon, and here I am sitting in my yard. Beautiful day today. I'm so tired of this rain. We had that little uh, pseudo Hurricane Henry, and really it was just a lot of rain, and thank God it missed us. But here I am sitting in my yard. Tonight, MC's Audio, how are you? Tonight I'm going to do a show with Phil Grimaldi, and I'm going to warn you, Phil Grimaldi got a haircut today. He went into some uncharted barbershop today in Brooklyn. I don't know what happened, but supposedly you may be a little bit shocked. So just be ready for Phil's haircut tonight, okay? So, folks, if you've noticed, we're trying to do some really eclectic type shows. Eclectic, I went to college once. I learned that word in my third year of college, so I figured I'd pull it out of the archives of my brain and use it every once in a while. So, eclectic meaning, multi-tiered, many-faceted. And that's what we're trying to do on Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. Anyway, we booked an unbelievable guest. I almost can't even believe we booked this guy, and it's through networking, through friends, through my good friend Tommy Dades, first grade detective. Hello, single mama 4, how are you? Great to see you. To my great friend Tommy Dades, that we were actually able to book on Wednesday, September 15th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sammy the Bull Gravano. Oh my God, yes. And I've never been, I worked in Manhattan North, so Manhattan North wasn't a bastion of mafia or wise guys. Manhattan North was a hell of a lot different. But my buddy, Tommy Dades and Phil Grimaldi, they're Brooklyn guys, and they grew up around all the mobster stuff, And so we've been able to, hello, Jutta Us, Calcutta, how are you? Great to see you. Save every single child, adopt only. Hi, Bill from Ohio. Great, welcome from Ohio. Single mama 4, wow, I can't wait. And we're also, I almost need a mob interpreter to help me out on these shows. And that's why I do these shows with Tommy Dades and Phil Grimaldi, because they speak that Brooklynese, and I'm starting to just talk a little bit more Brooklyn. The more that I hang out with those guys, I start talking a little Brooklynese. But I actually grew up on Long Island, and I have that extra, I don't know what we actually do, but that extra little accent that people are like, wait a minute, he's not from New York, he's somewhere else. I remember when I went to college up in Buffalo, my French literature professor said to me, he goes, where are you from? I said, New York. He goes, no, you're from somewhere else. And I said, Long Island. He goes, that's it. Your accent's very different than a New York accent. Phil can play in Godfather. Yeah, Phil's got that face, man. He's got that Joe Pesci face. And I'm so thrilled to have Phil working with me on these real crime stories, because not only does he have the face, the look, he talks Brooklynese, but he's very knowledgeable as a detective. And Tommy Dades is like a damn mob encyclopedia. So you want to talk about someone that knows all about the mob. And I just want to also show you, this is Tommy Dades' book, Friends of the Family, and we spoke about that on the last show, where we spoke about Steve Caracappa and Louis Ippolito, and we spoke about this case. And Tommy Dades, again, is like an encyclopedia on this case. And we have another former maid guy named Jimmy Calandra. And he has a really successful podcast, and he's been plugging my show on YouTube, and it's called The Bathgate Boys. And Jimmy has also asked to be booked on our show, and I definitely want to get him on our show because he's a wealth of knowledge. And actually, I was told or asked before I interviewed Jimmy Calandra to read this book here, Mob Over Miami. It just arrived today. So I'm going to have to read this book before I can intelligently talk to Jimmy Calandra, unless, of course, I have Tommy Dades sitting in the audience that can help me out, because Tommy, as I said, is the Bathgate Boys. You're right. You're right. I was wrong. The Bathgate Boys, that's where they're from, the part of Brooklyn that they were from, near Avenue U. And to me, that's like a foreign country. I really don't. The only time I ever went into Brooklyn is when we were looking for someone in the borough of Brooklyn. Bill Ryan from Ryan Investigative Group. How are you? Great to see you. I just do these. Al Johnson, how are you, buddy? AJ, AJ's from Do or Die Bed-Stuy, and he was in my academy class, January 21st, 1985. And AJ used to pick me up on First Avenue and drive me to the range when we had to go to the range, which was all the way on City Island. I didn't have a car back then. I was a real New York City boy back then. So AJ would come from Do or Die Bed-Stuy with a couple other people and pick me up. And I appreciate that to this day, because I don't know how the hell I would have got to the range, which was in City Island. They put one of the worst places when you're in a police academy to have to get to is Floyd Bennett Field. That's where the driving range was, where they taught you how to high-speed drive and stuff like that. So getting there was another nightmare. And Big Al from Do or Die Bed-Stuy would pick me up and take me to Floyd Bennett Field. So much appreciated, Big Al, 30-something years later. And as you can imagine, Big Al's a brother. And I brought Big Al out to my house for a barbecue out on Levittown, Long Island. I think it was the first time he'd ever been out to that locale of Long Island. It was, my mom still remembers him to this day. It was great having Big Al there. Anyway, enough about this stuff. But what we're trying to do on Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories. And again, if you're not subscribed to Police Off the Cuff on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and ring that bell. We just also started a membership channel on YouTube. And Angie Crummins, how are you? We started this membership channel, and there's actually 4 tiers. And the tiers, T-I-E-R-S, not T-E-A-R-S, T-I-E-R-S, the tiers are humorous in themselves. The first tier is called The Bucket, and I believe that's $2.99 a month to be a member at the level of The Bucket. The next tier is Polish My Rack. And polishing my rack is not a dirty thing. All New York City cops that are active, they have a rack of medals above their shield. And when people on the job would bust my chops, I would say, do me a favor, go get your gun cloth and some gun oil and go polish my rack. It was sort of a put down, but quite humorous, I think. So anyway, we're gonna have shirts made up called Polish My Rack, but then we realized that could be problematic for some females to wear those type of shirts because they may find that a little bit sexist. So you're gonna have a choice whether to order the Polish My Rack shirt or just order the Police Off the Cuff on the front. So we can't be blamed for it if you say, oh my God, this is so sexist, Polish My Rack. But it really means polish my rack of medals. So, but people that see that shirt may take it a little bit differently. Anyway, tonight, I'm gonna go live at 9 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook Live with my co-host, Phil Grimaldi. And we're gonna talk about the Summer Wells case again. And it's day 70. And when you talk about a heartbreaking case, the Summer Wells case is an extremely heartbreaking case. But we want to go over it and want to talk about, is the Summer Wells case, is it a cold case right now? And we're going to define what a cold case is. We're going to go over some of the things that we know about the case. And we're going to try to take some questions from the live chat. We obviously know that many of you folks are just sort of fascinated by this case, evidenced by the amount of people that are following this case. Fancy Drew, welcome to the Bucket. Thank you for joining or becoming a member of the Police Off the Cuff family at the Bucket level. That's great. Any way we can get you in there. You want to join at the Bucket level? You want to join at the Polish My Rack level? Oh, the other tiers are also, the highest tiers are dipped in butter, which is, that's like a $24.99 a month tier. But we have a higher level than that, which is even more humorous, which is $49.99 a month, and that's called the heated dipped in butter tier. And I mean, if you're part of the heated dipped in butter tier, you know that that's a serious level. That's a serious family member to be part of the heated dipped in butter, because you love us so much that you want to heat. You want to be in heated. You want to be dipped in heated butter. I'll put it that way, all right? Nancy Drew, but meme, that's too close to my name. She retracted that. Angie Crummins, Joe's in the chat. I'm so glad Joe's not feeling so well. Joe Murray, the great attorney, who we read his ad every single night. He's getting calls that he didn't realize he was getting. He just found it. He's being inundated with phone calls from you guys based on the ad that he has on the Police Off the Cuff site. Thank God you guys are calling the great attorney Joe Murray, and he's a little under the weather today, but he's going to get better, and we're hoping to have him back on the show. I would have loved to have had him on tonight. Joe, a single mom of 4, just said hello to Joe Murray in the live chat. Get well soon, Joe. We all wish you, we want you on the show. You lend so much legalese. You lend so much legal knowledge, legal talent to this show. I don't know of any other channels that have an attorney on call, and we don't even have to pay you $650 an hour to do that. You love coming on the show, but that's great. Nancy Drew, Joe Murray's going to be better before you know it. He's a big, strapping Irish guy, He won't stay sick long. He gets to catch up on all his mail, gets to read all his fan mail, gets to respond to the chat, so that's great. So, folks, again, we're going to go over the case tonight. I'm not going to tell you there's new information. I don't have any new information, but we're going to dissect what we do have. And we're going to talk about whether, in fact, the case is becoming a cold case, or what are our feelings about that? Again, Phil Grimaldi is an extremely experienced homicide investigator. He's worked in the 6-8 squad, and he also worked in the intelligence division. So he's really very knowledgeable about that. Again, I hate to, people actually say I don't hate to talk about my credentials. I love to talk about my credentials. Anyway, I worked as a sergeant for 16 years in the Detective Bureau, 10 in Manhattan North Homicide Squad. So I've worked quite a bit of homicide. And I started out in the Detective Bureau as a sergeant in robbery. And before I did that, I worked 6.5 years plain clothes, anti-crime, which is now the dinosaur of the police department because this administration got rid of anti-crime. And we're hoping one day anti-crime comes back. Few folks from different states, different countries, different jurisdictions. Anti-crime on the NYPD is officers that ride around in plain clothes in unmarked cars, and they have a distinct advantage over the criminals because they move around very stealthily, and they were the heroes of the police department, if you ask me, as well as a unit called Citywide Anti-Crime, which was street crime. Cat Whisper, it's pretty much starting to look like it for sure. Well, Cat Whisper, one of the things that we don't know, and I've been repeating this throughout this investigation, is we don't know for sure what the police have on this case. We don't know what they're keeping extremely close to the vest. All of that information they're holding close to the vest for a purpose, because when they're ready to pull the trigger on this case, and I'm pretty sure that this case will be solved, We got the Hawkins County Police, Hawkins County Sheriff. We have TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, and we have the FBI. So I'm sure that they're not sitting around on their hands. They're working on this case. They're crossing their T's, they're dotting their I's. And when we talk about something called victimology, and I had mentioned it very early in this investigation, and victimology simply is the study of the background of the victim. And you take that wherever it may go. And in this case, the victim, of course, 5-year-old Summer Wells, we have to, Joe Murray, I love the Summer Wells case. I'm learning so much about it from being involved in this case. And Joe Murray gives us the legal angle. Anyway, we get back to victimology. You must look at every single aspect of someone's life. Interviews with Don and Kansas, in-depth interviews, looking deep, a deep dive into their backgrounds, including his criminal history, his alcohol and drug history, his sexual abuse history, his work history, his friends. Talk to all his friends. Talk to all his co-workers. Talk to the people, the 3 boys who, the sons of Candace and Don, they were removed by Child Protective Services. I don't have the exact date in front of me, but it's been a while, So, Ray, Joe Dons did an interview on Voices Behind the Wall the other night, and I can't. This chat is moving so fast, I didn't get to read the whole thing. I pray they find her soon in regards to Summer Wells. I do too, and we all pray that they find Summer alive. That would be our hope and our prayers, that she's found alive. And many people, you know, they list like 4 different scenarios in regards to this case, and we'll get more in depth to that this evening about the 4 potential possibilities of what occurred in this case. But you know something? No one knows. And all of us talking heads on YouTube, we're giving a hypothesis, you know, an educated guess. But again, we're not privy to the case folder. We're not privy to everything that the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office has. We're not privy to everything that the TBI has. We're not privy to everything the FBI has, especially the search warrants on the electronic devices, the cell site information, the vehicle information, the tracking information. We have spoken to a lot of different people on this case. Candace TikTok, I feel, is leaving breadcrumbs. Ray says that. I haven't watched her TikToks. My feelings, Sheila says, Donna's continually messing up his story now too. He was there before the police. He got there after the police. He's unwinding it. You know, one of the things that happens that the more someone talks, the more inconsistent they get with their statements. So they may say one thing on one day and then say something totally different on another day. And that's what the police in interviews. Hi from England, Annie C. How are you? JR, beautiful, where you're at? I'm in my backyard, and my pool is behind me, which I think I've been in once this year. One of these days, I'm going to break down and dive into that pool. I don't know why. I just don't dive into that pool. I guess I'm a little bit lazy, you know. Not lazy. It's lazy to lay around. Yeah. You know something? When you think about it, today is the 24th of August. The summer's like close to being over, you know. Well, you know something, single mom, right? Chris was interviewed, Don was interviewed by Chris, and he admitted he had actually interviewed Chris's stepsister, and she spoke about being sexually abused by Don between the ages of 5 and I believe it was 12. And if you know anything about sexual abuse, someone that commits that crime, they don't get better all of a sudden. In fact, usually someone that does that was sexually abused themselves, and it's just repeating conduct that was done to them. So Don's sister, I believe her name was Jeannie, this I believe occurred in Wisconsin. I don't know if there's a statute of limitations on that conduct, and she could probably still have him arrested for that. Life is short. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. It's going well, you know. Doing these podcasts is very sort of liberating, but however, it also is a lot of work, and you really have to stay up on your game. You have to do a lot of networking. You got to do a lot of work on the phone. And luckily right now I have MC's Audio, Mike Colon, doing some work for us. He's working for us, as well as Joshua Hernandez from California, who's our producer. I couldn't do it without him, you know. Little Red, I don't know in Wisconsin what the statute of limitations is. I'll try to find that out. And Cat Whisperer says she loves our channel. Thank you so much. Annie C., I love your channel, your jokes and sense of humor. You know, I actually gave up a fledgling stand-up comedy career, which I had been doing for about six and a half years. COVID hit, and I didn't really get a chance to do it. And I segued into doing this podcast full-time, which I really love. So I don't know if I won't say I'll never get back on the stage as a stand-up comic, but doing stand-up comedy is a hustle. It's a real hustle, and I don't right now have the time to do that hustle. I would rather spend my time doing the hustle on this podcast, Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories. Last night we interviewed a buddy of mine. Joe Murray, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. I'm so proud of the work that you and Duty Ron are doing. I'm beaming with pride. He's like our daddy, Duty Ron, I mean, Joe Murray. I guess we could look like brothers. We have that Irish gene where a lot of Irish people, they just look the same. They all look alike, you know? And we could look like brothers. We probably could, you know? But thank you so much for your support. Kit Kat, or Cat Cat, thanks for bringing facts and sharing your experience. You know something? I love to share my experience. I love to share the knowledge that I have. Everyone loves Joe Murray. If Joe Murray had a podcast, he'd probably knock me off the charts here, you know, because he's a real popular guy, real sincere guy. Connie, my flippin' life. I'm from Texas and I love your accent. You know, I'm actually going to Houston, Texas on September 17th to visit my sister and Katie, who's taking care of my mom, who's 87 years old, and I feel I have to go visit my mom. So I'm going to head to Texas on the 17th for a few days and take them out to that steakhouse, Taste of Texas. I just gave them a free ad. You see that? I just gave the steakhouse, Taste of Texas, a free ad. Yeah, I just want to, I know I keep plugging. Hi from Arkansas. How are you? Susan Brewer. I know I keep plugging the show, and I'm really excited about the show because we're getting so many different types of guests. I mean, getting Sammy the Bull, it's going to be an amazing show. And you look, we're not, people sometimes criticize us, oh, why are you celebrating the life of a mobster, of a killer? And look, he's telling his story. And you know, when I was in homicide, we spoke to people all the time. That was our job. And you know, I think a lot of these stories, these La Cosa Nostra stories, they're really interesting. And as I said, after we have Sammy the Bull on, we're going to have Jimmy Calandra on, and he's got a really interesting podcast now, the Bath Street Boys, and it's a great. And he's been plugging my show, believe it or not, all because of my buddy Tommy Dades, whose friends grew up with Jimmy Calandra. You know, Annie C. The stories about the mob are really interesting. You bet they are. You know, they don't just make movies about the mob because no one likes it. You know, The Godfather, Goodfellas, Casino, Bronx Tale, Chaz Palminteri. Hi from Durban, South Africa. Oh my God, I almost said South Carolina. Irene Lewis from Durban, South Carolina. Wow. Mean Streets, MC's audios reminded me, Mean Streets. That's where they had the lion or the tiger in the basement of the place. Remember that? Ramblin' Rome, I know what they call Sammy. Life is short. You have great guests. Godfather, I think, was probably one of the greatest movies ever made, you know. Tommy Dades, Joe Murray says, Tommy Dades is an encyclopedia of organized crime. No doubt. Deborah Hartman, hi Irene, I'm in Ilovo Beach. And you see in UK, we haven't had anything like that, apart from London. Chick Eastwater, Summer Moon Case. Susan Brewer, she loves the mob stories. Single Mom of Four, yes, Tommy Dades is amazing, you're right. You know, it's amazing that I never met Tommy Dades when I was on the job. We were on the job, we were contemporaries. I think he retired. He came on the job before me, like a year before me, and he retired a bunch of years before me. But we never really crossed paths. Sgt Bill, talk to the lady named Dr. Barbara Roberts. Her book is called The Doctor Broad. She was the doctor to Raymond. If you could repost that, I almost finished it, but I didn't take the Evelyn Wood speed readers course. So Nancy Drew, you're my favorite channel. I love your variety of topics, Sgt Bill. Thank you, Nancy Drew. Jackie Blue, hey ya, at Chick Eastwater. An exact 2 decades on the job. Woof, 2 decades. I say I did 27 years, but I actually did just shy of 27 years. But, you know, I rounded off to 27 years, so I don't have to say the exact years and months that I was on the job. But it was very, very, very close to 27 years. So, again, tonight we're going to do the Summer Wells case. We're just going to discuss some of the things about the case, whether it is now, in fact, a cold case, or whether You know, Joe Murray's bringing up a show that we were both on. I'm forever thankful of the show, The Perfect Murder, where a lot of us guys met. I did 6 episodes of The Perfect Murder on the Investigation Discovery Channel. I know that Joe Murray did a bunch of episodes, and I know Phil Grimaldi did a couple because he was on an episode with me where we played the detectives that were involved in the case. And The Perfect Murder was a great investigation discovery case that recreated. Diane Harlow, I love anything you do. Someone needs to be found and justice served. I'm so worried it's going cold. Look at Barry Morphew. Joe Murray, Mark DeMeo too. Yes, we were all on that show, The Perfect Murder, thanks to Kevin Kaufman and Rick Torelli. Raymond Patricia, New England crime boss. The story is amazing. Well, you have her reach out to me. I'd love to interview her. Emily King, absolutely love your channel. Found it through the Summer Wells case. You know, and I just want to also plug Grizzly Books. Hello, Gisela. So nice to see you. You're up at all hours. I know you're on the other side of the world, but you're up at all hours. Lisa Logan, hi from Newcastle, England. Wow. Folks all over the world, you're reaching out to Police Off the Cuff, real crime stories. You know, it's so great to see all you people, you know. Anyone that has a great guest for us, have them reach out to me. You can go on our website, policeoffthecuff.com. Reach out to me. I'd love to interview a lot of these folks. Gisela is from the Netherlands, and I don't think she ever goes to sleep. She is a tireless worker. And if you know, Gisela, she does she does true crime stories. She writes books about serial killers, and she's really just getting in now to the YouTube channel, and she's really doing very well. I will take a little bit of credit for Gisela K. I sort of convinced her to come on our show. And since she did that, she's gotten over her stage fright, and she's like a prolific content creator now on YouTube. And Gisela, I'm really so proud of you. And I don't deserve all the credit, Gisela. You deserve all the credit. I just maybe gave you a little boost that pushed you up on the wall, you know. Emre, we have the mob in Little Rhode Island. Yeah, reach out. Have her reach out to me if she wants to come on the show. I would love to. I'd love to interview her. You know. So Grizzly Books, true crime. That's right, Gisela K. Grizzly Books. She's all over LinkedIn. She's all over YouTube, and she's all over Instagram. She's a great promoter, that's for sure. I'm actually going to go on her show at 3 p.m. on, I think it's the 30th of this month of August. So I'm going to be interviewed by Gisela. So she flipped the switch. The interviewee is going to become the interviewer. It's very true. Survivors are built in radar sense when they aren't right. I love your platform and what you represent. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Grizzly Books, True Crime at Nancy Drew. Mark DeMeo is going to be on Gisela's show on Thursday, which is 2 days from now, at 3 p.m. I believe it is. We did that because of the different time changes. Tina Wright, hello from Canada. So nice to have all you folks in the live chat. Richella Prenzo, Lieutenant Pete says, chat friends from around the world is best. Isn't that amazing, Richella? And you and Lieutenant Pete, Harlem Raiders, two of our biggest supporters, two of our biggest fans. And I hope that I stay as young as you are when I'm your age. And I'm not going to say, and you're not old, but I'm just saying, when I'm your age, I hope I stay as young as you guys, because you guys are definitely the epitome of staying young. Bram Holkus, are those available somewhere online? The Perfect Murder, we'd love to see those shows with you guys. Yeah, you can search it. I think it's on, you can get the channel. I think you could pay for it. It's like $1.99 to watch each episode. I think if you search my name, Bill Cannon, I think some of the episodes that I was on The Perfect Murder may come up. I'm by no means a TV star. I studied acting for about 3 years. I love acting, but it's really much more difficult than I thought it would be. So, Duty Ron, yeah, I was actually talking about Duty Ron before I got sort of misdirected. Duty Ron has done so much for me on this, on my YouTube channel. He showed me the ropes. He's helped me immensely, and he's definitely a brother in blue, both NYPD forever. And Duty Ron has done so much for this channel, and I give the thumbs up to Duty Ron. And as I said, he's amazing. Joe Murray says, I love the episode with Bill and Phil as the case detectives. I forget the name of that episode, but you can find it. You can find it if you search The Perfect Murder on Investigation Discovery. You can find all the episodes. They'll tell you, I think even on IMDb, you can search the episodes and they'll tell you who is in each episode. It gives the credits and all of that stuff. You know, folks, I've been on for a half hour. I didn't even intend to stay on this long. But you folks that were in the live chat, thank you so much for staying. And as I said tonight, I'm going to be going live with Phil Grimaldi, straight out of Brooklyn, Phil Grimaldi. And we're going to talk about the Summer Wells case. And if you guys, Fancy Drew, see you guys later. Take care all. If you guys can make it tonight, I appreciate you being there. If you're not subscribed to Police Off the Cuff on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, hit that bell. We also have a Patreon before. But folks, this is Bill Cannon from somewhere in Westchester County, looking at my pool. Maybe I'll take a dive in the pool after I get off the air. So folks, thank you so much for listening. This is Bill Cannon signing off.